name is Boyce Harries. I'm a Kenyan coffee farmer. I'm here today to talk about the natural process of coffee in a Kenyan context. Not that it's very common in Kenya. The traditional sun curing process of beans in the skin is normally in Kenya used for poorer quality coffee. But in the context of Chania Estate, which is the farm that I own, we do a natural process which uses cherry. This means that when the coffee is ripe, we harvest at a particular stage of harvest that maximizes the ripeness of that cherry. We try to harvest at a very even balance of ripeness across all those cherries. And what we also manage to do is a single varietal selection. Once the harvest is completed, we will do a sorting of these ripe cherry beans, and very simply, we put them on African-raised drying beds. When they're on those beds, they get another sort. Hand selection takes place, and we take out any defect beans, any unevenly ripe beans that may have slipped through the first selection, and also any beans that may have been damaged in the handling of the cherry. In the first instance, we try to dry the cherry beans as lightly as possible. When I say that, what I mean is that we put a very thin layer of cherry on the drying beds at first to get the drying process started as fast as possible and to get that skin starting to harden up. If we don't do this, there will be a temperature interaction and also a mold effect on the beans if they are layered too thickly on the drying beds. Gradually, as we cure the cherry in the sun, the beans will start to turn black from their original red, ripe cherry color. And as they turn black, we are able to increase the amount of beans that are on the drying table just to ensure a gradual process of drying rather than a very fast and rapid process of drying. This will mean that we hopefully will get a very even moisture level throughout the bean rather than a very dried bean on the outside and still a moist bean within. It would be easy to ask why on earth a Kenyan farmer would be looking at doing naturals, and it's a fair question to ask. We at Chania Estate have always tried to consistently produce quality coffee. The farm has been operating under the same ownership since 1926, and so there are years of handed down knowledge and experience that goes into both our farming and factory processing. The specialty movement has been around obviously for a while, but in the Kenyan terms, growers are just starting to understand and be aware of the extent of this arena. We were introduced to the concept of processing in the natural way by a long-supporting green coffee buyer called Cafe Imports, and they encouraged us and supported us through our trial period. So that is perhaps part of the reason why we were able to achieve and have been able to achieve what we have, is a long-standing relationship from the grower all the way through to the green buyer end of coffee, and also having relationships with people who have a global understanding of the coffee industry. So I think that at any point as a grower you're wishing to take risks, it's always good to have that understanding. And of course, to have that understanding, you need to have relationships all the way through the chain. Going beyond naturals, we're now, as a farm, starting to look at other processing methods. And of course, this is a way to increase the offer that we are able to provide the market, particularly the specialty arena. So the next step that we'll be looking at will be honey processing. We are now at the early days of this. We did trials over the last 18 months, and we have now been able to produce a limited lot that we have supplied to a roaster who has been buying our coffee for many years, Wolff Roasters. We're grateful for their support, and we were very enthusiastic when they said that whatever amount we were willing to produce in the honey trial, they would be buying all of it. So we've managed to achieve that this year. A limited quantity has been made available to Wolff Roasters, and with their support and market testing, we've had some very enthusiastic results and supportive comments on the quality of this coffee, and we will be looking together next year to hopefully increasing the amount that we use in this method.